What is up? It is time for Read, Rant, and Review. Today we are going to look at a book called All Our Yesterdays, and as usual it has since gone back to the library, so I'm going to be reading the description off of Goodreads. So let's read the back, shall we? What would you change? Imprisoned in the heart of a secret military base, M has nothing except the voice of the boy in the cell next door, and the list of instructions she finds taped inside the drain. Only M can complete the final instruction. She tried everything to prevent the creation of a time machine that will tear the world apart. She holds the proof, a list that she has never seen before, written in her own hand. Each failed attempt in the past has led her to the same terrible present, imprisoned and tortured by a sadistic man called the Doctor, while a war rages outside. Marina has loved her best friend James since they were children. A gorgeous, introverted science prodigy from one of America's most famous families, James finally seems to be seeing Marina in a new way too. But on one disastrous night, James's life crumbles, and with it Marina's hopes for their future. Marina will protect James no matter what, even if it means opening her eyes to a truth so terrible that she may not survive it. At least, not as the girl she once was. M and Marina are in a race against time that only one of them can win. Bum, bum, bum! So yeah, as far as the back of the book goes, that was pretty enticing. It makes you want to read it. But I'm not gonna lie, I picked up this book for one other reason. It's because of the title, All Our Yesterdays, which is a reference to my favorite speech in a Shakespeare play. She should have died hereafter. There would have been time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in its petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time. And all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Life is but a walking shadow. A poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, and signifying nothing. So yeah, cheerful, huh? And of course the book starts out with that quote, which always makes me leery because I have found that books that start out with a literary quote from a much better writer are often not very good themselves. It's almost like they feel the need to lift themselves up with this other writer's words before you go in, so you will have a better opinion of them as you go in. This book has really nothing to do with the quote, but it is a really cool quote. And the book isn't terrible. The book is odd. Let's talk about it. So this book, although it seems very adventurous and to be a lot about time travel from the back, it's really a sort of almost typical love story draped in a time-traveling coat. It's like it's wearing Doctor Who's coat in hopes that you will think that it's a time-traveling story, when really it's a love story about a teenage girl. Now, because I can't decide whether I feel like you should read this book or not, there are probably going to be some minor spoilers here. I'm going to try not to have any, book-breaking spoilers, but if you cannot stand to know anything about a book before you read it, then I suggest that you carry on to some other review. In this book, as far as the time travel stuff goes, you are going to have to suspend your disbelief a lot, because time just really does whatever the author needs it to do. It's all very wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. Very small effort is made to explain it, and I think some people have actually tried to figure out the science. I am not one of those people. It definitely seems like time just does whatever the author needs it to do. So in the beginning, the main character gets this note from herself that tells her that she's going to have to kill him. And they try to play the pronoun game with you, but you figure out really quickly who he is. So I don't understand why they didn't just have it more explicit in the note. I really was hoping that since they were playing the pronoun game, that the book would surprise us with who the him was. And it would turn out that she had to kill the boy that she's been talking to on the other side of the wall, who is her friend. And I thought that would have been a really cool twist, if all along they thought they were supposed to kill this one bad guy, and instead she has to kill this guy who's her friend to save the world. That would have been a twist that I could have gotten behind. So first big spoiler right here, Em and Marina are the same person, if you couldn't figure that out. Marina is the innocent version of her, who is before the time travel machine was invented, before she was tortured. And Em is the tortured, time travel weary one who is trying to save the world from James, who becomes the evil doctor. I don't think those are too bad of spoilers because you do figure that out, or at least I figured that out, quite early in the book. I'm sorry, I warned you about spoilers. And of course there is another boy that is going with Em on her time travel adventures in murder, and he is her romantic interest he is Em's romantic interest. So Marina is interested in James, and Em is interested in this other boy, whose name I can't remember. Finn, his name is Finn. And the two boys actually even kind of have the physical appearance of what you would completely expect. One is kind of tall, dark hair, pale skin, and he's the broody one. And then Finn is the light-haired, sort of upbeat, joking one who can be serious when he needs to be. Both of the boys are really very stereotypical romantic interests. And of course the book is all about, it's not really about time travel so much as it is about, which of these two boys is she going to end up with? There are other elements to the book as well, but this is definitely a very strong through current. So Em has to come back from the future to try to kill James before he does the evil. And oh my gosh, is she bad at her job. Seriously bad at her job. She tries multiple times to kill him. She's got clean shots to kill the man who pretty much is ending the world in her timeline, and she doesn't. Over and over again. And I'm like, would someone else do this? Finn, can you do this, please? Because she is the most incapable assassin I have ever met. It is interesting in this book how Em views Marina as a completely different person, because Em is so much more hardened by life and her experiences, although you'd think that would make her a better assassin, but no, she's still a marshmallow inside. And Marina is, the sweet, innocent one who she was before. And I like that they almost view that Em views Marina as a separate person from herself. However, you do go back and forth between the heads of the two versions of this girl, and it can be a little bit jarring sometimes, and you kind of forget where you were with one, and then you come back and you're like, whoa, what happened? Where am I? What's going on? It's a little weird. Especially at the beginning, because you were given no warning that this switching back and forth was going to happen, and all of a sudden you go from Em's head to Marina's head, and you're like, where am I? Why is everything good suddenly? Okay, now we're going to talk about the ending, and things will probably get even more spoilery from here, because the ending is really odd. Time is just, in the ending I'm going to be like, time, go home, you're drunk. Get out of here. In the end, we wind up with Marina sitting in a room full of dead people, both past and present dead people. Holy shit. And then for some reason, Time, who I've decided is, and the book kind of actually says, is a sentient being. Okay. Time decides to revert to a completely different timeline in which certain characters are dead, but certain characters are alive that weren't before. And I don't understand why. I would have loved it if the author had had the balls to have Marina just in this room with all of these dead people. And maybe the people who were from the future would vanish, but she would still have at least one dead person who was from her timeline in the room with her. And she was tied up at the time, so she unties herself or whatever, and she's traumatized for life now, but the world is saved. That would have been such a cool ending. But instead, we go back, she just gets the reward of this happy, conveniently happy timeline where the right people are dead. But she's okay, and Finn's okay, and their love can go on like it's the bad Celine Dion song. I would have loved the theme of, okay, the world is saved, but at what cost? I wish also that we had gotten to see more evil James before the end, because in the beginning you see a little bit of evil James, who is called the Doctor. I wonder if the author did that on purpose or if that was just never crossed their mind. But you see a little bit of that at the beginning, and then you get all good, nice, kind James, which I think is there to try and make you understand why M doesn't shoot him, but then you almost lose yourself why she would want to. And I think we need to have more flashbacks, more of evil James as a doctor, so we understand why he's bad and why he needs to die. So in the very end, M is going to die. She's going to fade because she has corrected the timeline, and she's got a few seconds with Marina, who is like tied up in a chair and blindfolded and all these dead bodies everywhere. And she has a few moments to say something to Marina. And she chooses to bolster Marina's self-esteem by telling her that she's strong and she's beautiful and she's good enough. And it just came out of left field to me, because apparently a theme that I didn't even get from this book is that Marina is supposed to have very low self-esteem and think very little of herself. And I did not get that at all. I mean, she was a teenage girl, and so she had normal teenage girl anxieties, but I never got that she needed to have her self-esteem bolstered, that was a theme of the book. I never understood that. And so it just came completely out of left field when that is what M chose to tell her past self. All in all, it was an okay book. It was pretty fun a lot of the time, a little bit frustrating at times, reasonably well written. But if you're looking for a time travel book with like explanations and stuff, this will probably frustrate you and is not the book for you. If you want something that's a little bit more on the romance end of things, but with more of a story structure than your typical paranormal romance like, say, Twilight, then you might actually enjoy this book. And there are a few twists and turns that are fun and did keep me interested in reading. If you have read this book, tell me what you think about it. Explain the time travel stuff to me, because maybe I just missed something. I don't know. But yeah, leave comments below if you like. Otherwise, I'll see you later in the next Read, Rant, and Review. Bye.